Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the season finale of the Coach's Corner, presented by the Unitas Caritas Foundation. And once again, we're going to look back at the game against DePaul Catholic from last Friday night, the non-public B football playoffs. We're also going to take a look and review this past season, a season that had some moments to remember. Probably the most overtime games we have ever seen here at Immaculata in this season. And of course, we are looking so forward to talking about that tonight. We also want to remind our viewers, if you have any questions, be sure to click on the link on the screen there, as we will have the coach answer those questions for you if you have any. We're also going to be introduced for the first time the all-conference team for the 2022 season. And we also got a special surprise that we'll give to you shortly. But right now, Coach, let's talk about the game from Friday night against DePaul Catholic. Second year in a row, we had to travel up there to Wayne to face DePaul. Your thoughts on the game?
Well, we knew going in that they were going to be, a handful. I mean, they have size, speed, experience. And I thought, our kids are never going to back down, and I thought our kids played hard. But we're just trying our best to get to that level that those guys are at, and we're getting there. We're inching there slowly. They're just an outstanding football team, and the biggest thing the biggest difference in the two clubs right now is the fact that their kids play one way. I mean, they have all 11 kids on offense, all 11 kids on defense. And I think that enables them to practice better. It enables them to do more things on both sides of the ball because their kids are only practicing one way. And it rests their kids. There's no question about that. And I think that's huge. And when you play, these types of teams, the upper echelon, North Jersey parochials, and DePaul is definitely one of those teams that, obviously losing by only 3 points to Don Bosco, who's the number one team in the state. They're all going to have that type of roster. And, we are not at that. We do not have the ability to do that as of yet. That's the plan. But, we definitely are shorthanded when we play against a team like that. And, they execute, they do things well. They have great players. And, we're wishing them the best of luck, as they move forward, in winning the crown this year.
Yeah. We talk about that, the difference, and stuff. And a lot of people say it, even talking to the AD a couple of times, they feel that, definitely non-public B is not for them because they play all those big boys during the regular season up in North Jersey, the Don Boscos, the Bergen Catholics, the Bartons, and so on, where we are playing a little bit more to our tune and our schedule. Your thoughts on that a little bit?
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, they're battle tested coming in, and as is Red Bank Catholic, who is going to be the other, big team in that division. Hudson Catholic moved from B to A this year, and I thought that was a little. I didn't think that was the right move to make. I think either DePaul or Red Bank should be up, if not both of them, up in that A category. But it is what it is, and that's what we were dealt with. So we're going to play that. But yeah, I agree. I mean, they are not far away from, they beat Del Barton, right? Del Barton turns around and thumped St. Peter's in the playoff game last weekend. So, when you look at where that is and who we're playing, I mean, we're very proud to be playing these teams. There's no question about it. And but we got to find a way to get to that level, and that's what we all want. And it's a process, and it's been a slow process, but I feel we're taking steps each and every year to get to that, and hopefully we could come to that level at some point in time.
With that, Coach, let's take a look at some of what we saw on Friday night against DePaul.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they did some real nice things to us offensively. They throw it, they run it well, They have speed all over the field. But I felt we did some very nice things as well, especially on offense. We came with a new wrinkle. We went to an empty formation. We tried to get those guys off our backs and still be able to run the ball. So what we did was we had a package put together with Cam Chadwick in the backfield as the single quarterback. We were snapping him the ball and doing some things with him. And we took Mason Geist, the quarterback, and split him out as a wide guy. And the reason we did that is that we did not want to have a different package going in the game and them saying, well, 17's out of the game. They're not going to throw the ball as much. So we tried to keep it with the same personnel and then keep Mason, somewhere in the game. But, we tried to create seams and we tried to get our best athlete, in space running with the ball. So we did a lot of read game with him. And, I think it was somewhat successful for us here. This is a power read look or a counter read. You're going to see our backside, our guard and tackle pull opposite of the direction of the ball. So what this is Cam's got a read now on the end guy on the line of scrimmage, number 44, where he can keep it or give it. And here he gave it to Anthony Brown. And Anthony Brown is very dynamic. I mean, when you look at him turn this up and the speed in which he does it, this is something that we're going to be able to take advantage of, I think, in the future with his speed. But this was a real good play for us early on, a nice, 12, 15-yard run. Seeing it from the back end, you're going to watch the right guard and the right tackle pull opposite the direction. So this becomes a read play on number 44, who's the defensive end. And what we did was we gave the ball and we were able to, get a nice little chunk play there out of that. So that was a good thing for us. Now, here's the same formation. However, it's a little bit different in that we have Cameron Chadwick split out and Mason Geist is back at quarterback. So we're looking to throw the middle route here. And we found something in their coverage where they like to run the inside linebacker down the middle of the field. And we were able to find that open space. And, this is Mason being Mason. He delivers a bullet here. Good protection, hits Cam. Cam's doing what Cam does. He has a nice little run here and gets us down, a nice chunk play down to the 20-yard line. Protection-wise, I thought we did a very good job. Again, we were able to form a pocket. We knew when we went to an empty formation, they were not going to blitz and we're not going to rush more than 3. So that's why we went to this, because we knew the protection would hold up. That's a great throw, good catch, good protection, very good football play for us. Later on in the same series, back in a traditional look. And again, when you look at Mason here and his footwork and his moving up into the pocket and just delivering an absolute bullet down the middle of the field, that's a great, great job by a very young quarterback that is going to be a tremendous player down the road. And you don't see too many quarterbacks that are able to do that. Again, so a real good play, looking for Cam on that. We get a nice deal out of it. From behind, I think the protection on this particular play is very good. Now, this is a four-man rush, so we're able to get a double team. And you look at Finn Tully, the right tackle, just fighting here. The most impressive thing, though, was on the left side here with Aaron Mielek, who's playing against Lucas Young, number 44, who's one of the premier DNs up there. And he does an outstanding job on this kid as only a sophomore, doing a great job on him. So we were happy with that. The good thing is all those linemen are back except one. So that's looks good coming down the road for us. But, you look at Mason's pocket presence and the zip on a ball there, just an outstanding play. Same drive, the quarter switched. This is I don't know that I've seen a more determined young man to get in the end zone on this than Cam. All right, we run that read option deal again, and the thing gets closed down. He bounces off. He's able to get away. He's able to make people miss, and he's able to get in the end zone. And the thing I like here is our young freshman quarterback way out there at wideout comes back in and gets a little shoulder nudge block on the kid and springs Cam into the end zone. So we thought that was a great play by him. Seeing it from behind, I think you can even appreciate it a little more, in that this whole thing is bottled up here, tackled, bang, he gets off it, reverses his field, comes back, and is able to make a good run out of that. Defensively, we made some good plays at times. They were just very good on offense. Here, we talk about the gap control, and this is exactly what we wanted to do. We have a nice job here by our guys scraping over the top, our linebackers, our D-line, and that was a really, really nice deal for us there. You see it from behind here, and again, we talk about that gap control, right? And there it is, and that's so important on defense that you are not, eliminating gaps. The biggest problem with DePaul is that they line up with 2 tight ends, 3 tight ends, bunch formation. They create numerous gaps, and you got to make sure that you are gap sound to them, or they're going to find it. And if there's nothing there, their backs are good enough to bounce it. So that was something that we worked on a whole lot, during the course of the preparation for them. But they executed it very well. Here's a little read option again, but this time with the back in the backfield. And Michael Tallis, he ran so hard. I mean, he really did. And I really thought our offensive line did a nice job. We definitely were better than a year ago on offense in terms of moving the ball. So, you look at a nice little deal here, a nice hole. You look at our left guard, Oliver Collier, run the nose right out of there, and that's a good job by him. We get the linebacker blocked. Aaron Mellick works up to the next level, and then the option off number 44. So good play for us, something we tried to take advantage of with them. Here's another deal here with Cam in the backfield, and we're running that read option again. This time it's to the front side where it's off the power play, and Cam gives the ball. Now, the unfortunate thing here is that we miss a block on the edge here. If we get the block on number 1 down here on the bottom of the screen, this is a touchdown. There's no doubt, as fast as he is. And that would have made it 21-14. So, again, little mistakes that happened. But you look at Anthony Brown and the speed he has and the way he hits it up there, he's definitely a kid that's, we're going to ride him, next year and take advantage of all the speed he has. Looking at it from behind, we're going to reach everyone. We're going to block down. We're going to reach it. We're going to wrap a puller around, and, we're just going to look for the open space, and we get it there. And, with his speed, he's able to get a nice chunk play for us. Back on defense, they set up a screen here where they motion out to one way, and then they want to throw the screen back to the fullback the other way. And Will Grabko does a great job because, unfortunately, we don't have numbers over there, if they want to throw that screen back. But, Will does a great job from his nose position, forcing this kid and, making him throw an errant pass here. You see it from behind. Will is right over the nose. He makes a great move. They blow a protection, and, we get a nice stop out of that. Here they are again defensively. They're in an empty formation. Jackson Laub, I think that might be his 3rd interception of the year. Gets underneath the little route here from his linebacker spot, picks the ball off, and again, we get a stop there where that was an important thing for us, in that particular situation. Offensively, we go again with this jet sweep, so to speak, and we give the ball to AB again, and again, his speed getting around the edge does a nice job for us, and we like him immensely running that play. He's the Somerset County 200-meter sprint champ, so we always want to take advantage of the speed he has. And unfortunately, we lost him for a big chunk, with an injury, but now getting him back healthy was good for us. Defensively here, we do a great job here. And if you watch, I think we've done a great job all year covering backs out of the backfield. And they bubble a kid here. They want to throw a little read screen to him. Joe Fleming does a nice job recognizing that and running to the screen. And, the kid's got nowhere to go with the ball and winds up errantly throwing it away. And, I thought that play was well defended by us. Here's another one where they run a little jet sweep, and, here's Martin being Martin. The ability to the athleticism of just being able to run a kid like this down and the strength to just get him and throw him into the dirt he's done it, for the last 2 years for us. And he's been a great player, and he's going to be a kid that we sorely will miss, down the road. This is an absolute bullet here from Mason. Again, the protection holds up. We kind of get collapsed here in the middle a little bit, but he's able to stand in here and throw an absolute bullet to Amir Mason, catch and run. Again, nice looking play for us there, and a young quarterback doing some great things. This play gets cut off in the beginning a little bit, but I don't know that you're going to see a better ball. We throw a one-on-one fade in the end zone to Cam Chadwick. And Mason just kind of lays that thing up there, and what a great pass. Great pass, great catch. Again, just scratching the surface as to, what this kid's going to bring to the table for us for the next 3 years here, and we're real excited about that. From a protection standpoint, again, our guy's doing a good job. We're on a full slide here with the back picking up the end from on the back side of the slide. And again, Milik, they try to swim over him now, and he does a good job handling that. And we work on swims, and the technique that he needs to use to that is to come back in and punch his rib cage. Oliver Collier is very strong in here. Billups does a nice job. Pap, Tully, great job up front here, and we're able to get that snap and throw for a touchdown. Unbelievable play by our guys there. So again, not a whole lot to show. We're very excited in that we have a nice nucleus of kids coming back, and hopefully we can learn from this and move on and understand what it takes to play at that level.
So, Coach, we were talking about all season long that this was a little bit of a tougher schedule this year. And you're pretty happy about that because it challenges the kids and what have you. And I think that's very important going forward.
I'm always a guy that wants a challenge.
Yeah.
I want our kids to play at a high level. I don't think it does you any good to be playing teams that you're going to beat week in and week out. And I don't think it's any I don't think anyone will make a mistake thinking that I want to play against those big guys. And that's what we're looking to do, and that's where I want to be. And hopefully we could start getting the type of athlete in here that's going to really help us get to that level. But yeah, I mean, listen, 4 overtime games in 1 year has got to be a state record. I don't care what you say. And just to put it into perspective, my 14 years at Delaware Valley, I had 2 overtime games in 14 years. We had 4 in one season here. So, and again, when you look at it, Manheim Central is now 10-1. Holy Trinity is 9-1. Weequahic is 9-1, 10-1, and they're still playing. They're playing Mountain Lakes for a championship this week. And then Hudson Catholic was 7-1 when we played them. So when you look at the teams we took to overtime, I believe it was like 32-4 or something like that. Yep. And so I'm proud that we were able to stand in and battle against that type of competition. Week in and week out, you got to be able to handle that if you're going to play this type of schedule. But you also have to have the roster to be able to handle that as well. So I think, we're doing the right things. We're getting to where we need to be. I think we're well respected in the state right now. I don't think anyone is really too anxious to want to play us.
Sure.
And I don't know that was the case a few years ago. So I think we're in the right direction. And I told the kids, you have to face challenges because when things are easy, you got to know how to respond when something's tough. And I told them, as you move on in life, things aren't always going to be easy. You're going to have to fight for things and understand that, when we get to college, if we're playing college football, the level of commitment that takes. But not only that, academically, kids are going to be forced to take 2-3 tests in 1 week in college. How do we prepare for that rigorous schedule? And I'm hoping, by getting a little bit of a feel for what it's like to prepare for something tough, I think that helps carry them through. And that's what football is. And we talk about, football is a game that that always is going to tell you who you are. I've always said that. And, these kids can be proud that they stood up against great competition. They fought very hard. We're walking away with a championship, with a conference championship out of it. And, to me, it may not look like it was a successful season record-wise, but, we'll play with anyone in the state right now. And I believe that we are a better program right now for what we did this year and playing against those types of people. And, it's going to continue. And I told the kids that these teams are not going away. We're going to continue to play these teams on a year-round basis. So, hopefully they understand. They know the level they have to compete at, and I think we're way better for it.
That's awesome. And, again, we look back on this season, and I kind of look at it, and I think you do too, that the success over the season, there was a lot of success this season, even though you said record-wise, it may not look like it was, but it really was a successful season for these guys. I mean, you started off against Manheim Central, a double overtime. The following week, knock off, I believe it was Newark Central.
Right.
Then coming back, and you got to go to Rutgers. You play one of the best teams in New York.
Yeah.
And it just bode very well for you guys. And people were actually watching.
Yeah. I mean, again, kids come to Immaculata because they want to get prepared for college, whether it's academically, athletically, whatever the case may be. And I felt that, playing in Manheim Central, leaving early in the morning, coach buses, going to Millersville University, walk through, eating lunch there, driving over to the stadium at Manheim, playing a game 2.5 hours away. That's a college experience.
Yes.
Then we come back 2 weeks later, and I don't think anyone's ever going to forget the experience of that game at Rutgers Stadium. I think the electricity, I think the way our school came out and supported us, it was really, really, special. And when I talk to our kids, one of our seniors, Anthony Suderkis Carroll, wrote, they have bios that flash up in the cafeteria, and what's your fondest memory of Immaculata? And he wrote the football game at Rutgers. I mean, and that says it all. And, we did some nice things. I mean, we traveled all over the place, and, I really believe it was a special year. I think we have some special seniors that are leaving. And the biggest tribute of all is that we're probably going to have 8 or 9 kids going on and playing football in college next year. So again, that's my job. My job is to help these kids get to where they want to be. And I think it's real important that we're able to do that.
Earlier today, I was talking to the guy that runs the whole thing at Rutgers, Tom McGuire. You know him as well and stuff. And he actually had a meeting at Rutgers today, and Immaculata was a hot topic. Not only for the game being played, but because of the following we brought with us.
Right.
And they were so thrilled about that. And they were literally hoping to get you guys back next year for more.
Wow,
that would just be awesome.
Yeah, that would be. And Tom spoke to me after the game, and he says, Coach, this is unbelievable. And he said, your school has brought more people to Rutgers than any other game that's been played here. And that's a tribute to Immaculata and what it all stands for.
Absolutely. So right now, Coach, we're going to take a look. There have been some postseason awards, and we're going to take a look. And for the first time, people are going to see it tonight, the all-conference team. And we're going to let you take it from there.
Yeah, we had all-conference meeting on Monday, and it's a tedious process, and a lot of arguing, a lot of jockeying for your guy and this and that. And I think when you win the conference, you have a good shot of getting the most people on there. So, offensively, obviously Cam Chadwick, he's a repeater. He was first team last year. Where do you want to put him? Is he a receiver? Is he a running back? Well, there's an athlete category, and I think that's where he fits in. Finn Tully, first team. He was a second teamer last year as a junior, comes back as a first teamer. The thing that I'll never let go about Finn Tully is that he has started 27 consecutive games at Immaculata, which is the most of any kid on our roster. Quietly does his job week in and week out. 4.0 plus student, just did an outstanding job for us. Will Grabko was the punter. Now, Will, had a great year, not only as a punter, but he played linebacker. Because of injury, we asked him to move to nose. He did a great job for us, kicking off, punting. He must have kicked 6 field goals this year. And obviously the overtime winner against Weequahic was a big thrill for us, and I'm sure something he's not going to forget. So those guys are all first-teamers on offense. Defensively, we have also had 3 first-teamers. Martin Langton was a first-teamer last year. That's a no-brainer. Jaden Wooten, our other defensive end, was a second-teamer last year. He was a unanimous first-team guy this year. And Amir Mason, the other corner. Everyone talks about Cam, and Cam's a lockdown corner, but quietly over the last 2 years, Amir has been an outstanding cover guy for us. And you don't really see him getting beat ever. He does his job. He plays very well at the position. And he also is a 2-time first-teamer on defense for us. So, we're real proud of Amir for what he has achieved over the last 2 years. Second-team offense, there's our freshman, Mason Geitz. I mean, that's unbelievable. And, we're
Just
real
quick,
proud
Coach,
of that.
with that being said, Mason Geitz being a freshman, second-team offense. On Friday night, it was a battle of freshman quarterbacks, and I'm not sure a lot of people knew that.
Yeah, their kid, Zamet, I believe his name was very good as well.
Yes.
There's 2 very good freshman quarterbacks in that game. And so Mason, Mason's got the world ahead of him, and he's going to have a lot of accolades as we move forward. The committee really liked Oliver Collier. They thought he did some nice things, and Ollie nosed in there as a second-teamer. And Michael Tallis, our running back, who, had a very, very difficult year with injury this year. His ankle was never the same all year, and but Mike just keeps playing and playing and playing, and obviously he was awarded with the second-team offensive choice. On defense, on the second team, we did a nice job. Mike Giuliano. Now, unfortunately, Mike's season was cut short with his injury against Pope John, but he was an absolute animal for us in there at nose, and that's what forced us to move Will Grabko down when Mike went out with that injury. So, but it was nice to see that Michael went from being an honorable mention kid last year to a second-teamer this year. I believe he would have been a first-teamer had he been healthy the whole year. But it's just an honor to get a kid on there that did have a season-ending injury, and people still knew about it. Kenny McGoldrick, I'm so proud of Kenny. Kenny was like another coach for us this year. He got us lined up. He made sure the defense was where it was supposed to be, and that's something that's going to be very hard to replace. Our congratulations to Kenny as he signed a letter of intent today to play lacrosse at Division I NJIT. So congratulations to him and his mom and dad, on that achievement. Jackson Laub has been a 3-year starter as well. He's had some injuries throughout his career, but he was awarded as a senior, as a second-team linebacker. And then Cole Hayden, a sophomore. And everyone, he was in the discussion as a first-teamer, but the vote just didn't go his way, and he wound up a second-teamer. When I told him, he looked at me and says, "Coach, I'm going to be a first-teamer the next 2 years," and that's great to see. So we did a very, very good job, and of course, we had an honorable mention. Everyone gets one, and Joe Fleming, who played very well for us this year, but again had a lot of injuries and struggled towards the end of the year with getting healthy and all that, but very important as a junior that Joe got, some kind of honor and accolade here. So we're proud of those guys. And that was an outstanding showing by us in the conference. No question about it.
So with that being said, we're going to get another graphic up there because a little bit of a surprise. We have heard today that our very good coach, Mike Columbo, was named Coach of the Year in the Super Football Conference National White Division. We want to congratulate Coach for that. I'm hope he's loving that picture right there. We've been trying to get him, but he doesn't like to smile, unfortunately. But it's a great picture and very well deserved, Coach. Well, your thoughts on that?
I got great assistant coaches. I really do, and our guys work hard. And you don't achieve an award like that without having a group of guys that also have the same goals in mind that you do and instill it in the kids. So for me, it's nice, but football to me has never been about one person, and
Right.
I'm honored by it, but at the same token, that's more of a reflection of our team and all the support system that we have behind it. So happy for it, but I think it's a concerted effort by a lot of individuals.
Yeah, no, you've always talked about that, individual awards and all that kind of stuff. But in the end, there are 11 guys on each side of the ball.
Right.
There are multiple coaches out there
Yep.
who have all a job to do, and that's really what it's all about.
Yeah.
When that all comes together, you have the success, and it bodes well for you,
Right.
and in turn, giving you that award
as a head coach, you have a philosophy, and you hire a staff and you instill that philosophy in your staff, and that philosophy then gets instilled in the kids. So again, you talk about it just works down throughout, and I think like you say, Kenny, it's not one person. It's a concerted effort by a lot of individuals.
Absolutely. Coach, in turn, let's talk about it. Let's go back again. Your overall view of this past season, again, record-wise, it may not seem like a success, but this team, I think, grew from start to finish, especially with the games played before. Or you just saw the character and all the heart that went into these games this season, especially with those 4 overtime games. Again, we don't think anybody's ever done 4 overtime games in a season, but Immaculata did, and it just shows the heart and desire that this team and this organization just does not give up.
Yeah, I've mentioned this numerous times. Parents, spectators, fans, administrators, they see us play on Friday night. What makes a team is what you do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I know, Kenny, you've been out and watched us practice numerous times. I've always felt as myself as a practice coach, and I want to practice as hard as we possibly can each and every day. And for those of you that have seen us practice, I mean, you could see how hard our kids work, how hard our coaches prepare. And, I think, to me, again, as I stated before, the willingness to prepare is the most important thing. When you take a test, you don't just show up and take the test. There is preparation that's involved for that test. It's the same thing with football. Friday night is our test, but Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we're taking parts of that test and preparing for it, as we come into the game. Some weeks we prepare better than others, obviously, but I think our kids understand that that's the formula for success, and I think they'll take that with them, no matter what it is they choose to do, as they move forward and leave Immaculata. And again, I feel that our seniors that are leaving were a special group. It was my first group that I really brought in here, and I know when they leave here and they move out into wherever life takes them, I think they're going to look back on this and say, hey, what a great experience it was playing at Immaculata and having all the support system behind us and how it prepared us to succeed in life. And that's the most important thing. It really is. When you've been doing this, a long time, you have hundreds of kids that you've coached, and a lot of times they come back and they say, Coach, I would have never done it if we didn't do it the way we did it here. And, I would have never been as successful as I am. That, to me, is why we do this job. There's no doubt. And, I think the more people that understand that will understand, how much it means to us as coaches, how much it means to the kids. And, when you're out there playing and you see it in all walks of life, you go to games and, there are people in the stands yelling at coaches, screaming and yelling at kids. And I'm like, listen, these are high school kids, and I'm not Bill Belichick, and we're going to do the best we can to, do what we can for the guys. So very successful year for us.
Absolutely. So what do you look at for the future now? these freshmen, sophomores, juniors now for next year. The preparation for them, a lot of these kids, I'm sure, I remember you saying last year, we're sitting here and some of these kids wanted to get right back into the weight room right after the season. You didn't want them to do that. You wanted them to just take a couple of weeks off and heal and get ready. But so what is it going to be like
here's
now?
The thing. We had Monday we came in, we collected our equipment, and I had a meeting with all the returning players. And there was about 54 kids in the room. And we were able to squeeze everyone into that beautiful film room brought to us by Unitas Caritas. So we had a meeting, and I explained to the kids what the expectation is moving forward. And what I told them was the Monday after Thanksgiving, we are going to start our off-season program, okay? And, we talked to them about what it's going to take to beat a DePaul, to beat a Pope John, how we have to train to that level to get there. And, a couple hands went up. And, Coach, can we go in the weight room tomorrow? And I'm like, well, I'll be here. If you want to go in, that's fine. So Tuesday and today, Wednesday, we must have had a dozen kids in the weight room getting an early jump on it. So I think the kids know. I think they want it. So we are going to prepare. We're going to have our weight room going 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday from Thanksgiving. We're also going to go back to grind time Tuesdays and Thursdays. I have to meet with those guys and see how that schedule works. So we'll go back to the same rigorous off season. And the thing is this. That is what DePaul does. That is what Pope John does. That is what Hudson Catholic does. That is what Del Barton, Bergen Catholic, Seton Hall, they all do it that way. So guess what? So do we. Because if we're going to play those guys, we got to be prepared for those guys. So that's the approach that we're taking moving forward.
Awesome. I did hear that we have a couple of questions out there for us. And Rob, who it's all season long been running the controls for us behind the scenes, we want to thank him for that. We also, before we get to the question, we remind those, especially the people with the question, please join up with the Unitas Caritas Foundation. If you do, you get one of these free mugs with the Spartan logo on the other side. And on the other side is the Unitas Caritas Foundation logo. You join up for $19.66 a month. You will get a card. It will allow you to get into the Spartan home games for free. And so please join up with us. That will help us. It will help the football program, help us continue to move forward. And indeed, I will tell you, the coach talked and spoke about the film room. If you have not seen some of the improvements at Immaculata, you need to come and take a look, especially all of our alumni. I know, we had a 50th reunion that came in back in the beginning of October, and they could not believe what they saw, that this was not the same school it was 50 years ago, and they are so right. So you need to take a look at all this when you come and visit. But right now, Coach Rob, what do we got as far as questions?
Yeah, so we have a couple questions and really a couple comments. We have a shout out here to you, Kenny, actually, from a fan saying, great job with Coach's Corner, and a big thank you for doing this. I assure you, neither one of these guys receive a dime for what they're doing here. So thank you, Coach. Thank you, Kenny, for doing that. Also, we have a question from arguably one of the biggest fans here. It's from Jake. He wants to know, he said, Coach, what are some attributes that you and the coaches look for in a successful student athlete, both on and off the field?
I think the same attributes that go on to what makes an Immaculata student, what they are. I tell parents when they come to our school that your sons are going to be academically accountable. They're going to be respectful. Okay, they're going to be responsible. They're going to be polite, and that's the kind of kid that we want to have come through. Because in my world, Jake, when you have that kind of kid that understands the importance of all those things, he's going to do a lot of good things for you. Athletically, we're not going to make any mistake about it. We need to find kids that can play at that level. Okay, there is no doubt about it, and we are going to vet our kids that are coming in. Anyone that transfers in, they are going to be first and foremost solid citizens, but secondly, they got to be kids that can play against DePaul, that can play against Pope John, that can play against Mannheim and Hudson and Holy Trinity and Weequahic, and I can go on and on. But those are the types of kids that we're looking for: solid citizens, great athletes, good families, and most of the kids that come to Immaculata have all those attributes. That's why they are there.
Thank you, Coach. And then one final comment comes from Mrs. Columbo, Marion Columbo. She just wants to take this opportunity to congratulate the coaching staff and the team on a tremendous season and let everyone know that she's very proud of all of you. So that's our last comment for tonight.
You know, sometimes you're away so much with this job, and I don't think people really realize how much time that we all spend away from our families. And you got to have someone at home that understands your passion, that understands what it takes, and that is able to be supportive in every step of the way. Marion has just been unbelievable in terms of understanding all that. The leaving at 5:30 a.m. in the morning and coming home at 8:30 just about every night. The 17-hour days on game day, the meetings on Saturday mornings till 2 in the afternoon from 8 o'clock, and the scouting trips to Pennsylvania and Long Island and all those things that we do. I think it's really important that you have someone that understands all that, and I'm very, very happy and blessed to have someone at home that really does understand that. So I want to thank Marion for everything she's put up with, and also all the other coaches' wives. And I know they go through it, and girlfriends, and they go through it just as much. And and I always tell the guys, just blame me. Tell your wife it's my fault, and that kind of gets them off the hook a little bit. So again, it was a great year, and we're excited. And the hard part right now is I go from 1,000,000 miles an hour to 0, and it's you kind of look for things to do, and I know there's a list at home. I know that, and we're going to start attacking that a little bit as we move forward here. But I'm real happy with the year. I'm real happy with our kids. I'm real happy with the support, and I just think we got to take it up a notch as we move forward. At Immaculata Football.
Absolutely awesome. So that about does it for our season finale of the Coach's Corner for the 2022 season. I want to thank Coach Mike Columbo for coming every week and doing this. It has been a struggle at times, as we all know, and what have you. I also want to take a personal note here. And I took a week off early in the season. I want to thank everybody for their love and support, when my brother passed away earlier in the season. And I thank everybody for that and all. We also want to thank Rob Helwig behind the scenes, very big with us for the Unitas Caritas Foundation, and we want to thank him so much. We want to thank everybody for being part of this and joining us here on the Unitas Caritas Foundation presentation of the Coach's Corner for the 2022 season. For all of us tonight, for Mike Columbo, thank you very much. For Rob Helwig, I'm Ken Gregg. Good night, everybody, and we will see you again for season 3 and 2023 of Immaculata High School football. Good night.